freaking stud.
Arm fighters, YouTube. In the last video, we talked about how to weaponize your hand for arm wrestling. In this video, we're going to touch base on how to use your arm. I talked with John Brzenk and Eric Wolfe again, got their thoughts, and I'll share my own. So let's roll into this. I hope you enjoy. Last week, we talked about how you use your hand.
Yep.
How do you use your arm?
So my arm, depending on the move, I'm trying to get inside you, right? So I'm going to be all about side pressure, and that's what they call the side smash. My own patented name.
Now,
So I'm all about trying to come.
Are you using your bicep to try and pull me to you, or to maintain your?
I'm using my bicep and my back muscles.
To pull.
Yeah. It's a drag.
That's been making me.
Now,
Yeah, but it's sided. This is as much side pressure as I can apply.
like when you get in this position, how are you using your arm?
That's going to be more of a rotation and a bicep.
Bicep. That's your table curl right there. That's when I
Yeah,
feel.
that's
when
my
I feel
table curl.
you.
But it's going to be with this, though. Not just trying to curl through you. Give me some pressure. So here's just a basic curl, but I want to come through you too.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
So would you say that would you say you use your arm to move your hand, and you try and keep your arm in one position?
I don't want my hand to be left behind. So if I go with my arm to move my hand, sometimes your arm gets ahead of your hand. So you really want your hand to lead your arm. So whatever you're going to do with your arm, your hand has to lead.
So how I kind of use my arm, I try to use my arm, is I'm using my bicep to try and maintain this position. I'm not trying to curl you so much, because if I do, I burn out really fast, right? So,
But here,
yeah. Well,
you want to make sure your hand is not just an afterthought.
In the perfect world, right, my hand is connected, whatever I want, whether it's connected here, I'm trying to drag you in, right? So in the perfect world, my hand's connected, and I'm thinking about how I use my arm. And the first thing is I'm trying to keep this relationship close, right? Because for my style of pulling, the closer I am to my body, the more that translates through.
But as long as you have a conscious connection,
Yeah.
because if you don't have a conscious connection and
if there's this
then you leave that behind sometimes. Not you personally.
Well,
but
no, I will
people.
sometimes, and so, but like if I drop my wrist, I don't. I'm counting on you or the strap to hold on to me, and actually hurts.
But are you okay with here?
Yeah, it actually hurts a lot less if you just let go.
Okay. I don't like being there. Too many injuries.
Have you pulled there trying to fight it, or have
Yeah,
you?
too many injuries.
So when I go there, when I decide to go there, I don't fight it. And then I'm just pushing through.
That's where I've earned some good injuries over the years.
So how do you use your arm? Like, assuming you got your hand where you want it, how do you try and use your arm?
I'm still using the front part of my arm here and here. So kind of, even if I can't pronate or I'm not really focusing on a pronation, I'm putting that pressure as I'm trying to maintain my elbow to my torso with my shoulder.
Try and
to
keep
go
your
to the pad.
your hand in that same position. Yeah.
It's more effective, I think, pulling outside with a little bit of a pronation than it is trying to go directly sideways to the pad.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an option, but hey.
So would you say you're using more bicep or lat right now to stabilize?
It's bicep, but it's really the side of the arm, not the bicep. And it's forearm.
So you're just using your cup to stabilize his pressure?
Cup to keep his back pressure under control, and then pressure with my thumb into his hand.
So you heard John's perspective, you heard Eric's perspective, and you heard me touch base on my perspective. Let me go in depth a little bit farther about how I believe I use my arm, and some other arm wrestlers do too. Keep in mind, there's so many different styles, so many different ways that you can build yourself into a weapon on the arm wrestling table. This is just my approach, and that was Eric and John's thoughts. For me, which you got to know that a lot of how I pull is heavily influenced by like John and Eric was my first mentor. So their opinions and thoughts sync with me on how they do it, and I have found taking their advice to work to my advantage, but that works with my build and the way I pull. But anyways, so I'm using my bicep to just try and keep my hand as close to my shoulder as possible at all times, whether I'm inside my chest, parallel with the table, or outside my arm. I'm doing that to try and create an aim, trying to get the high ground, right? Because I'm trying to attack from the top of the mountain. I'm not trying to chop the mountain down. In the ideal situation, if I get caught in the trenches, it's different, right? But so I'm trying to use my bicep to pull as tight as possible. And I'm using my shoulder to try and keep this tight. I'm using my chest too, but what my chest is doing is pulling my hand in towards my chest. What my shoulder does is make this harder to do, right? I get my shoulder tight enough, that makes it harder to pull my hand out. And then of course I'm using my lat to drag, big old row. But you want to be careful not to row like you're on a cable machine and pull your hand down. I think it's important to learn how to row with your hand high, right? So you're keeping that high ground. A lot of guys got a bad habit of when they drag their own arm down. And if you're a beast, it works, but I think it's more advantageous if you can drag with that high hand, then you can come over the top, you can still dig deep, but me personally, I'm always looking for the high ground. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you have a great week, and I hope you get stronger next week than you are this week. Till next time, peace.